Our buildings shape who we are.
June West loves buildings, particularly old buildings with a history. Perhaps it comes naturally to her. She was a sculpture major in college, but then began working with the elderly, building senior living facilities and operating them, all of which led to her role as Executive Director of Memphis Heritage.
I think it relates to all things old have merit and value, and I didn't think it would translate into historic buildings, but somehow I think that has a role in it, that all things aging or older are important to me.
Memphis Heritage is a 40-year-old nonprofit organization that focuses on historic preservation and acts as an advocate for our architectural history.
I think people classify historic preservation in some circles as a dirty word because it means slowing down progress, you're putting you're slowing things, you're creating a roadblock to something new. Being new does not necessarily make it better, and I think we saw that during urban renewal in the 60s when everybody thought we have to get rid of the old and put in the new so everybody's brand new in a new society and the whole that concept. And I think we're finally going full circle, and that's what brings me great joy.
Memphis Heritage doesn't have the money to buy old buildings. Instead, June tries to be a catalyst for preservation by helping real estate developers put old buildings to modern uses.
Our agenda is to help the community create ways to preserve buildings and make a business, make it profitable, make it tell developers the ins and outs of historic building credits and tax credits and things like that. I equate us to the little fire lighter that you use to start your charcoal. We're that spark that sees it as our responsibility to bring it to the community and to get support or lack of support, but basically to put it out there and see where it needs to go.
Historic preservation can take many forms. On Broad Street, June worked with the owner of the Bounty restaurant to rebuild the entire western facade of the building instead of demolishing it, thereby preserving the historic character of the neighborhood. A few years ago, members of the Union Avenue United Methodist Church asked Memphis Heritage to step in and help save their church. Unfortunately, no other buyers willing to preserve the property as a church could meet the asking price, so today, a CVS pharmacy sits on that corner. But just a couple of blocks away is one of June's major successes, Overton Square.
I think I would say it was kind of a turning point for us because we had out-of-town owners that didn't really understand Memphis, didn't understand Overton Square, how it was in the 70s, didn't have a concept of what Midtown energy was like. If you were to remove it from Midtown and put something like a parking lot and a box grocery store in that area, can you imagine what the feel would be like as you drove down Madison and made the right on Cooper? I mean, it would just, it would just not only shock us, but it would change our feelings. It would change how we felt about Midtown.
Today, Overton Square is thriving once again, and that is due in part to the dedication and passion of June West.
I've always felt dedicated to what I did, whether it be taking care of older people, seniors, or doing what I do today. But I think it leaves a footprint, and I think it's very, very important to get people excited about it and to have them understand the value of why we do what we do.
Currently, Memphis Heritage is in the midst of a capital campaign to raise $3 million for their New Century Fund, which will reshape the organization's future.
We will become a funding agency. We will start giving out grants, not buying buildings, but we will start supplementing programs that need our help to maintain historic properties.
As June says, not every old building is worth saving. But when you look at these photos of what was then and what is now, you may be able to see what June West sees, the value of preserving our history.
If you are in an environment that makes you feel something, gives you a spirit, gives you a sense of place, that is valuable to the community. It's valuable to generations to come. If we get rid of that, if we don't have the actual structure in which something occurred or see the artistic ability of craftsmen back in the era of the late 1800s, early 1900s. We're losing that, and we can't afford to do that, because if you forget how you've done it, what you've done, your future isn't going to be very successful.
Water is very important to our health, but it's also very important to our economy.
This is the ghost section of the Wolf River. Yes, it's the same muddy, slow-flowing river you drive across on Summer Avenue or Walnut Grove, but here, near Moscow, Tennessee, the Wolf River has been protected and preserved for the last 20 years by the Wolf River Conservancy. Keith Cole is the executive director of the Conservancy.
The mission that we have today is really protecting land and water for future generations.
The drinking water that comes out of our faucets has traveled from an aquifer about 1,000 feet below our feet. The water in this glass could be as much as 2,000 years old, and it began its journey in the wetlands of the Wolf River.
It has been estimated that the water supply that we sit on top of could last us for the next 500 years. That's great, but what we also have to keep in mind is we have to protect that water. And so the lands that we protect, primarily floodplains and wetlands, we protect those lands so we don't have breaches in the aquifer system, that we don't have the wrong chemicals or pollution going into the water that will ultimately could affect our aquifer system.
The Conservancy is a land trust. Of the 500,000 acres that comprise the Wolf River, the Conservancy has protected almost 15,000 acres through conservation easements, land donations, or outright purchase of property.
We at the Conservancy, we have what we call the land prioritization conservation schedule, and it's based on a number of environmental factors where we have ranked 10,000 land parcels in the Wolf River watershed on their conservation value. So we actually have them prioritized, so we know if lands come for sale or to be donated, where they are in the pecking order for us as far as their value.
Keith Cole came to the nonprofit sector from the world of retail business, having owned the Blockbuster franchise covering a 4-state area. He brings over 20 years of business and leadership experience to his role at the Conservancy. Going from the corporate world to conservation has given him a new sense of purpose.
I enjoyed my business life. It was great fun. I think we built a great company. This is different. Again, it's a responsibility to something a lot larger than me, and frankly, in many ways, a lot larger than the Wolf River Conservancy.
Currently, the Conservancy is focusing on a new project, the Wolf River Greenway. This $40 million project will create a corridor of protected green space along the Wolf from downtown Memphis to Germantown and Collierville.
The Greenway provides a number of benefits. One benefit is transportation. As we build out the Greenway, you'll be able to travel without getting on City Street on a bicycle or walk from point A to point B, downtown, all the way out to Shelby Farms Park very safely. Also with that is the health aspects that come from recreation, but also with that is the economic benefit. You know, if you look at the current Shelby Farms Green Line, look down on the western end in the Tillman area, you're seeing new development in Tillman. That's a good example. There's examples of this all across the country where these Greenway type projects will help improve economic development in an area both on commercial aspect and also residential.
Gliding down the ghost section of the Wolf River, you get a sense of what this land was like 500 years ago. In the 17th century, French explorers called it the Blackbird River. What they saw then, we can see now. And thanks to the Wolf River Conservancy, future generations can have that same timeless experience.
The real importance is the next 30 years. The lands that we're protecting now. As our city grows, as there's development, and we're all for development. We call it smart development, green infrastructure, protecting those lands that need to be protected for all the right reasons. is really protecting lands for future generations.